Every year, massive towers of cargo vanish in the blink of an eye, shipping containers disappearing beneath ocean waves. It sounds surreal, yet this is a real and troubling outcome of modern global trade. Today, we'll examine the causes of these losses and the ultimate destinations of all those containers. Hang tight. This tale is stranger than you might expect. In 2024, out of over 250 million containers moved globally, around 576 went missing at sea. That's a tiny fraction, only 0.002%, but each one sets off ripples across oceans and industries. Most years average about 1,480 lost containers, while major disasters can spike losses into the thousands. Let's unravel the causes behind those staggering losses, one by one. From massive storms to subtle human mistakes, the reasons are layered and often preventable. Could a misdeclared weight or poor securing really cause a container to capsize? Spoiler, yes, those details matter more than you'd guess. Let's look closely, starting with how stacks fail when waves crash. Rough seas and sudden rogue waves can launch entire stacks of containers into the ocean. This risk is amplified as ships grow larger and stack containers higher, sometimes like skyscrapers on deck. When a ship rolls dramatically, even secure, lashings can fail under extreme torque. That's how a routine voyage can quickly turn catastrophic. Parametric rolling, a rare, dangerous motion, can knock container stacks loose instantly. On the one in 2020, nearly 1,816 containers fell overboard during such sea behavior. These sudden movements put force on locks and structures that weren't designed for that stress. In those moments, safety margins vanish even for the most seasoned crews. Shipping lanes rerouted through the treacherous Cape of Good Hope increased losses by 191% in 2024. These detours face brutal storms and unpredictable currents, making safe navigation an uphill battle. Despite improvements in route planning, nature still sets the rules. Every wave, every gust can push containers to the breaking point. Many containers fall not because of storms, but because they weren't secured properly in the first place. Understaffed crews, hasty loading, and pressure for speed all elevate the risk. Misdeclared weights throw off a ship's balance, stacked loads become dangerously unstable. Errors that seem small on land can mean disaster at sea. Improper packing or damaged containers weaken structural resistance. Container walls may buckle. Despite advanced locking systems, if one brake fails, the rest of the stack may follow. That's why detailed inspections and honest declarations are not just policy, they're life-saving. Tragically, corners still get cut when deadlines loom. Investigations reveal that nearly 70% of containers with hazardous goods failed safety. Inspections entering U.S. ports. That neglect doesn't just endanger ships. It creates floating threats across the waves. When those goods end up lost, they can leak toxins into marine habitats. Ignoring mislabels today means environmental disasters tomorrow. Some containers float temporarily, drifting across currents before taking on water and sinking. That floating hazard often goes unnoticed until it crashes into a reef or washes ashore. Others sink quickly, landing like time capsules on the seabed with unknown cargo inside. Either outcome creates long-term risks for ecosystems around the globe. In 2021, Sri Lanka's beaches were ravaged by toxic pellets and acid from ship fires. And lost containers, cleanup crews found dead turtles, dolphins, and entire marine populations devastated. These remain underwater scars long after the event fades from headlines. Every lost container is a potential disaster for marine life. Even plastic consumer goods contribute to microplastic pollution when containers break apart. Sunken cargo spreads slowly, sometimes surfacing years later in unexpected places. That's why recovering or tracking lost containers is more than protocol, it's preservation. But the ocean is vast. Tracking debris feels like finding needles in a moving haystack. One massive incident occurred in 2020. The One Apus lost nearly 1,816 containers while crossing the Pacific. That was the largest single loss since 2013, costing up to $200 million in supply interruptions. Behind the numbers are lost goods, delayed orders, and disrupted lives. Every container lost is a ripple in a global economy. In 2019, MSC Zoe lost 345 containers in a North Sea storm north of the Dutch coast. And in 2013, the Mall Comfort sank, taking with it over 4,000 to 100 containers. These catastrophic events are rare, but when they happen, the fallout is massive. They remind us of how powerful nature and logistics failures can be together. Between 2008 and 2022, the average container loss stood at 1,566 per year, a number that includes minor and major accidents. However, estimates by other agencies suggest the actual figure may be much higher, up to 10,000 per year. The difference lies in reporting transparency and imperfect tracking systems. It's clear we still have more questions than answers. In 2026, new IMO rules will require ships to report all container losses, not just those with dangerous goods. This will mark a big shift towards transparency, even if enforcement remains a concern. Companies had no obligation to disclose many losses before changing that could drive better safety. Visibility may bring accountability and fewer lost containers. The WSC and Maritime Institutes are working to tighten stowage and securing protocols. Tools like advanced lashing techniques, twist locks, and stability tracking are being tested. Globally, air systems will soon flag suspect cargo before departure, increasing safety at every step. These upgrades help transform cargo handling from reaction to prevention. Research into parametric rolling and ship design changes could reduce container loss risks. Crew training is improving better understanding of weather impacts and cargo dynamics. These combined changes may make megaships safer, even through the roughest seas, because in shipping, knowledge is the ultimate safety net. The ocean is the backbone of global trade, transporting everyday goods and raw materials worldwide. Every lost container is more than a failed delivery. It's a hazard, a cost, and a missed opportunity. Behind each mishap are disrupted supply chains, environmental damage, and lives impacted. Now we know the stakes and why even a single lost box matters. Thousands of containers vanish yearly. Not all get tracked, but consequences ripple from oceans to our shelves. Tighter regulations, smarter tech, and better industry practices hold hope. If oversight becomes the norm, not the exception, fewer containers will vanish. Let's support change that keeps shipping safer for the planet and global commerce. Tell us, did any facts surprise you? Which issues should be tackled first, safety or transparency? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like if you learned something new today. Subscribe for more real-world mysteries presented simply and powerfully. Thanks for watching. See you next time as we continue exploring stories beyond the horizon.